It's not okay to make mistakes. That's the unconscious, wounding childhood message of the Enneagram Type 1. And today we're gonna dig deeper into that message. If you're new here, I'm Hillary. I'm your certified Enneagram life coach, and I love teaching the Enneagram in the easiest and simplest way possible so that others may understand themselves better, understand the people in the world better. We can have more grace, more love, more understanding, all of those things. So who is that Enneagram Type 1? Well, we've heard them called the perfectionist. We've heard them called the reformer. Ultimately, none of that really matters, not even the number 1. It's a neutral way to talk about the Enneagram Type 1. So it's all neutral. No numbers are better, no numbers are worse. Sorry, ones. I know that you guys probably think I'm number 1, but it's just a neutral way for us to, tell everyone apart. So, okay, with all that said, let's dive into who is the Type 1. So the Type 1, what's their basic desire? It's to be good. It's to be honorable. They want order. They want fairness. They want things to be right. The Type 1 a lot of times is a really bold advocate for the rights of other people. What are some of the strengths of that Enneagram Type 1? Organized, hardworking, efficient. They like to help other people be better and do better. And the Type 1 likes to do the right thing because it is right, not because somebody told them. What's the basic fear of that Enneagram Type 1? Being immoral, being unethical, being thought of as bad, being wrong. They really do desire to be the good boy or the good girl or the good one. They just have this fear of being wrong, being incorrect, being out of control, especially when they perceive injustice and unfairness. Okay, so that's a little bit about the Enneagram Type 1. So let's go ahead and dive into the childhood pattern of that one. So some of the common things that we find with Type 1s are being a child was either not acceptable or they had a lot of adult responsibilities at a really early age. Ones really tried hard to be good kids. This is the one that would have understood that their parents expected a lot out of them. For different reasons in the Type 1s, we know that they experience a sense of being disconnected from that protective figure in their life, which means sometimes the ones feel like they need to give themselves the guidelines. They become their own moral guide. This helps them cope with that feeling of disconnection. What I've seen in the ones is they really will make themselves their own judge, their own critic of life. All right, so let's move into the wounding childhood message of that Type 1, which I said at the beginning, which is it's not okay to make mistakes. A lot of times we say this is an unconscious message that they would have heard. They didn't necessarily hear someone say, you can't make mistakes. It's wrong to make mistakes, right? Maybe somebody did, but not usually. It's usually, it's an unconscious thing where they're noticing like, oh, when I made that mistake, it caused this, and I didn't like what it caused, so I'm not gonna do that again. It's this unconscious message, they have that filter on. This is what makes them different, than all the other types. The filter that they're seeing life through as a child was, oh, it's not okay to make mistakes. I don't like it when I make mistakes. Others don't like it when I make mistakes. And so that one, they really struggled with feeling, just never good enough. I'm never good enough. I don't do a good enough job. Different feelings and thoughts like that would go through their mind. Also, the one might have felt like they don't deserve happiness if they made a mistake. And so all of that was riding on whether they made a mistake or not. Usually this childhood wound is from feeling disconnected from those protectors in their life, the people that would have been in charge or would have been protecting them. They, all of a sudden they didn't feel connected to them. Maybe this came from like an overly strict home or an overly strict school and I'm not saying strict is wrong, I'm just saying overly. Maybe they just felt, and again, this is the filter they're seeing things through. So it felt really strict to them. But then also maybe it was the opposite. Maybe they came from extremely lenient homes that had no rules at all. So with, their personality, they kind of felt out of control because nobody was in control. So what did they do? They become in control. Maybe it was school, maybe it was another significant figure. It doesn't always mean, oh, your parents did A, B, and C. No, it's just in their little child minds, this is what they were hearing from whatever figure was in their life. And every type, 1 through 9, has a different unconscious childhood message. And again, that's why you could be in a family of 5 kids and you guys experience childhood differently. It was almost the exact same probably. Maybe you were parented a little different, But, it was the same household, but you experienced hurts and hangups differently, and you process things differently because of the lens that you have. So for me personally, I'm a type 9, so I processed my world through the type 9's lens. And so if you're watching this and you're an Enneagram Type 1, that's a lens that you would have processed things through. And so that's why this message felt so much bigger to you than other people. And I want to say, this doesn't mean like, oh, I had bad parents, that's why this happened. I would say parents don't understand sometimes or the parental figure, I should say, or the protective figure, because we can't always say parents either. We don't know who we grew up with, what you experienced, but whoever that figure was, sometimes they didn't understand that maybe that is the message they were sending. Maybe, because of their personality, they saw things through their lens, and so that's why it came out the way it did. And it seemed like to the one, it's not okay to make mistakes. Or maybe it was a really harsh, hard home life. And it wasn't okay to make mistakes. And you really did get in big trouble. So there's all these different scenarios to how the one interpreted and experienced their life. So what's the lost childhood message that the Enneagram 1 needs to hear? You are good. That's the message that would have been lost in everything, and that they desired to hear, they needed to hear, and you might need to hear it right now, that you are good. You aren't bad, you are good. And when I coach my clients, I really take them through this process of realizing that what you do doesn't make you good. Just because all your checks and balances are checked doesn't make you good, because then when you don't get it done, that means you're bad. And so we don't want to put that label on what it means to be good and bad that way. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But what do we want you to learn? Well, we want you to learn that these things that you decided when you were a child are no longer serving you, right? As a child, it's a very simple message of, it's not okay to make mistakes. That's the message. As an adult, we need to look at those mistakes and realize it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. Now we're thinking of things through an adult mindset. So how do we heal from this? How do we heal from these wounding childhood messages that, we all heard different ones in our childhood? I think for the one, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you are good, regardless of your mistakes or not being perfect or anything like that. Those should not be the measurement to which you measure yourself if you're good or bad. It really is time to have love and grace for yourself. I know it's a simple message, but it's true. It's time to have love and grace for yourself and the people in your life. If you're watching this and you're not a one, have love and grace for them. Understand where this sense of I need to be perfect all the time and I can't make mistakes comes from. That helps us see each other in such a human way, a human lens, where we're like, oh, I get you a little deeper now, and I realize that you're not just like critiquing everything all the time because you want to, or however it comes across. Sometimes it's because this is something they decided as a child, and this is what they operate out of sometimes. One tangible thing to do is practice saying it's okay to make mistakes, because it is. It's okay to make mistakes. It really is. Mistakes happen. We have to allow for that. And then also be okay. If you are a one, be okay when others make mistakes. Have allowances for, okay, mistakes do happen. It's okay. Mistakes, we can't have a mistake decide if you're a good person or a bad person. That's way too much control. And then I would say reflect back and identify like, oh, when did this happen? And journal about it. You can heal by processing and understanding different things like that. And if it's deeper than that, if you need something deeper, I would say find a therapist. Honestly, I think therapy is amazing. I think any of us and all of us can go to therapy at any time. And it helps. It always helps to just meet with somebody else, share what's in our heart, share what's in our soul, and then, it be out in the light. So those are my tangible things I would say you could do. The simple fact is we live in an imperfect world with imperfect people. So instead of letting the world and people let you down or yourself let you down, it's healthy to realize that, it is an imperfect world and there are imperfect people. I think with intentionality, willingness, hard work, processing past experiences, we can move into healthier versions of ourselves. And that's the goal, right? It's to always be moving towards a healthier version of ourselves, becoming our best self that we know that you can be. All right, so that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Get ready, because types 2 through 9 are still coming. This is the first video in this series. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you got from this, or, anything, or just say hi. But thank you so much for everything, guys. Thanks for trusting me with your Enneagram journey. And if you got to this part and you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button, because like I said, I have so much more coming your way. A new video every week, hopefully every Friday, is what's on the agenda. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, bye guys.